Was Red Dead Online a missed opportunity? If you will ask me, the answer will be yes. Actually, it's one of the biggest missed opportunities in history of gaming. But IGN asked Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two, this question, and his answer is different and actually really interesting. So let me be clear, he began. There is literally nothing about Red Dead selling 85 million units that could signal a missed opportunity. Like, first of all, why is he talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 sale numbers when being asked about Red Dead Online? But even more, this statement sounds reasonable, but actually selling 85 million copies doesn't mean that there is no missed opportunity here, because Red Dead Redemption 2 could have sold 100 plus million units, or even more during the same period of time. And actually, data from Take-Two's official report tells us that it's quite possible if they will release next-gen version of Red Dead Redemption 2. That was rumored a year ago, but nothing happened still and people are losing hope. I found some hints in Take-Two's financial report, we're gonna talk about this later, nothing crazy, but just a little beam of hope. But anyway, then he finally talks about Red Dead Online, and Red Dead Online has been immensely successful and long-lasting. I'm not a native speaker, so correct me if I'm wrong, but he uses present perfect here, which means that Red Dead Online not only was successful in the past, but still successful. Which sounds kinda weird considering that today, at some point, there were only 269 players in Red Dead Online standalone on Steam. That's the lowest number ever, like ever. Look at these numbers. Red Dead Online is literally dying. 625 players on average this month on Steam. Once again, it's the lowest number ever. And as for peak amount of players, it's lowest ever as well, because it has 2000 players, which is not impressive at all, but still more than at the end of 2024. However, this number is completely fake, because it's much higher than the real number. It happened because on every Tuesday Rockstar apparently are adding like 1000 plus suspicious accounts to Red Dead Online for a few hours only, but you can see it on the graph, but it affects the peak amount. Real peak amount is 1189 players. That's the highest amount of players who played Red Dead Online standalone this month. And yeah, a lot of players are playing Red Dead Online using full Red Dead Redemption 2 game, but here numbers are not impressive as well, and they're declining dramatically, despite Rockstar giving a huge discount, 75% for Red Dead Redemption 2 constantly. We don't know how many players are playing on consoles, we don't have that kind of data, obviously more than on PC, but still, it shows tendency. Player base is declining. However, Strauss Zelnick is not a gamer, so what he says here actually makes sense from a financial point of view. He says Red Dead Online has been immensely successful, and that's 100% true. And that's because according to leaked financial data from Rockstar, they are still making on average $2 million a month from selling gold bars in Red Dead Online alone, without doing literally anything. There are no patches, no hotfixes, no content at all. They have one employee who chooses bonuses and discounts every month, and maybe it's even done automatically, I don't know. They also don't spend too much money on servers. First of all, because game uses peer-to-peer connection system, which is extremely cheap. There are some servers, but not too many. And secondly, because servers are really bad recently. I have constant disconnects, other people have constant disconnects, errors on all platforms, so they're in a terrible state, and it doesn't look like Rockstar are spending too much money on them. And despite all that, the game makes solid profit, despite being completely abandoned. So, from financial point of view, it's a huge success. You don't do anything, you get a lot of money. But anyway, then Strauss Zelnick actually says the real reason why Red Dead Online was abandoned, and why Red Dead Redemption franchise in general was abandoned. I think if we didn't have Grand Theft Auto here at our company, then people would just talk about the fact that we have this massive franchise in Red Dead, which we do, and of which we are very proud, he said. So yeah, because people are comparing Red Dead to GTA. And Strauss Zelnick himself is comparing Red Dead to GTA. And investors are comparing Red Dead to GTA. Then he actually continues, I actually personally think Red Dead is just amazing, and I love engaging with it. Engaging how? I'm not sure if he's playing it. And I think the reason it continues to sell is that it's just spectacular entertainment, it's beautiful, and it feels very up to date despite the fact that it's not a new title. I completely agree about Red Dead Redemption 2 being beautiful and spectacular entertainment, but this part, and it feels very up to date, is something I don't really agree with. And that's because on consoles, where most players are playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, we still have only 30 FPS maximum. It's locked by Rockstar. Even on PlayStation 5 Pro, you cannot have higher FPS. And that's because we don't have a next-gen version for Red Dead Redemption 2. We don't have it still. And let me show you why that's a huge missed opportunity. So this is data from Take-Two's investors call. From previous one, actually, published in February. Data is for October, November and December of 2025. Red Dead Redemption 2 sold in over 82 million copies. And here is the data from recent Take-Two investors call. Red Dead Redemption 2 sold over 85 million copies and became the third best-selling game in history. But anyway, they sold 3 million copies in 3 months. But which is more interesting is this data. Previous report, Series sold in 110 million units, and this report, Series sold in nearly 115 million copies. So it means that Red Dead Redemption 1 sold 2 million copies in the first 3 months of 2026, because they don't include Red Dead Online in this number, they don't include free copies of Red Dead Redemption 1 that they were given as a part of Netflix subscription. No, there are 2 million copies that people paid the money for. And you know why it happened? It happened because Rockstar in December of 2025 released a next-gen version for Red Dead Redemption 1, which means Switch 2 version, PlayStation 5 version, and Xbox Series. And despite the fact that Red Dead Redemption 1 was already running in 60 FPS on PlayStation 5, they managed to sell almost 2 million copies. And now imagine how many copies they will sell if they will release next-gen version of Red Dead Redemption 2. And speaking about that, as I already said, we don't have any new leaks and situation looks hopeless, but in the financial data, once again, I found something interesting. In a part where different Take-Two employees, high ranks rather, are talking about how successful their business is, Karl Slatov shares some plans for financial year 2027 and later years. Obviously, everyone focused on GTA 6 here, but they're also planning to release in financial fiscal year of 2027 2 mobile titles, 3 sport titles, and the most interesting, 1 platform extension. Platform extension is not a remake, it's not a remaster, it's a simple port for a different platform. Next gen version is a platform extension. And fiscal 2027 for Take-Two is a period from April of 2026 to April of 2027. So if here they're talking about Red Dead Redemption next gen, they still have plenty of time. I don't think that they will drop it anywhere close to GTA 6 release, but who knows? They can drop it in June still, in July, maybe even in August. But if it's not gonna happen, they are still promising a lot of sequels, remakes, remasters and platform extensions in financial years 2028 and 2029. Once again, Take-Two is not only Rockstar, they have also 2K there, so it can be any ports, but, you know, there is still some hope. Especially considering these numbers for Red Dead Redemption 1 Next Gen and Red Dead Redemption 2 without Next Gen. So what do you think? Is Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2 single player without a Next Gen are missed opportunities for Rockstar, for Take-Two, for community in general? Let me know in the comments, and meanwhile go check the video where I started from zero in Red Dead Online this year. You can see it on your screen now. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, stay healthy, goodbye.